Good evening, I'm Jared Alba, and today I'll be discussing the pressure under pressure. Have you ever watched your favorite athlete play and wonder what might be going on in their personal lives? Today I'll be informing you all about the mental and psychological factors that may affect an athlete prior to performing and while performing. I'm an athlete myself. I compete here at the University of Laverne running cross country and track and field, while also working, being a student, and having personal outside factors that are impossible to hide while competing and at practice. The goal of my speech today is to give you all further insight into what an athlete is dealing with under pressure and the strategies used to combat these difficult feelings and compete well, as well as addressing some of the misconceptions of what mental toughness truly means. Let's take a look at some of the effects that athletes can have, some of the effects of stress that athletes can have, student athletes in particular. Student athletes face many factors outside of competition that are unfortunately dragged with them into competition. According to the College Student Journal, student athletes may also face additional stretchers such as pressure to win, conflicts with coaches or teammates, the constant possibility of being benched, the pressure to perform in practice or during competition, the academic pressures to maintain a certain GPA to stay on the team. Factors such as these are dragged into competition, and athletes must find a way to cope in order to stay in competition. Athletes must find it within themselves to manage their emotions and mental fatigue in order to perform at the best of their ability. To add some context, according to the athlete-specific neural strategies under pressure, an effective task performer exhibits a substantial decrease in brain glucose metabolic rates. Brain functioning is crucial to athletic performance. Without proper brain functioning, poor decisions can be made and cost athletes big time, and even lead to injury if they're not 100% focused on what they're doing. Here we can see some of the athletic divisions that our student athletes perform here in the United States. So let's take a look at some of the coping mechanisms for stress and anxiety that athletes are being introduced to. Coping mechanisms of stress and anxiety and other mental factors are being discovered to help athletes through these struggles. Outside factors that aren't school related take a toll on athletes' mental health before and during competition. According to the College Student Journal, in particular, self-determination, social support, and companionship in athletic involvement helps moderate stress within sport as well as in the students' athletes' lives. Companionships or friendships are great ways to cope through mental fatigue and pain. Teammates are always people you can count on to be there, as they're always there traveling to and from competition, during competition, or at practice. Even more coping strategies are highlighted in the athlete-specific neural strategies under pressure. With psychological skill training combined with these techniques, additional positive effects can be expected. Athletes can work with professionals such as sports psychologists to work on psychological skill training. Anyone who neglects training their mind, as well as their body, will never reach their full athletic potential. Here we can see some athletes who are very outspoken with mental illness. Most notably would be down here would be Simone Biles, as she pulled herself out of athletic competition last year in the Olympics due to some mental fatigue. And we can see Michael Phelps and Kyrie Irving as well. Now let's explore some misconceptions about what the true meaning of mental health truly is. There are common misconceptions of what mental toughness truly means. Some believe in common phrases such as toughen up or get over it, rather than taking action to help those actually in need. Mental toughness refers to any set of positive attributes that help a person cope with difficult situations, according to the wiki article Mental Toughness. Another way mental toughness is defined is by the Australian Football Federation. Australian football is a collection of values, attitudes, behaviors, and emotions that enable you to persevere and overcome any obstacle, adversity, or pressure experienced, but also maintain a concentration and motivation when things are going well constantly to achieve your goals. There are more definitions and breakdowns of what mental toughness encapsulates that we don't have time for, but true mental toughness comes from realizing that problems don't have to be handled all alone. Finally, some might ask what a balanced, mentally healthy lifestyle looks like for an athlete. An athlete will experience several situations throughout their day where inconveniences and unfortunate situations may arise and decisions need to be made just like any other human. According to Balanced Mental Health in NCAA D1 athletes, a student athlete might feel a twinge of moral guilt if he or she sleeps in, eats pizza, or even skips a workout. There comes a point in an athlete's life when they push themselves to the limit, and some things need to be managed in order to keep themselves performing at their best. In this case, we see that food or laziness affects the athlete so deeply that it causes them to have guilt. This weighs heavily on an athlete's and individual's mental health. There needs to be some sort of leeway when you're performing at your highest level. And here we can see a typical college dining hall that many student athletes are, getting their meals from and getting their fuel from in order to not only perform well in the field, but in the classroom and throughout their daily lives and be able to perform as a functioning human being in society. So, in conclusion, I hope you have all learned a little bit more about what it takes for an athlete to compete while coping with mental health and anxious factors. Athletes are human as well and have real life issues outside of competition that they still have to deal with while performing. Next time you're yelling at your favorite athlete on the TV, think about the fact that they are human and have real life problems. Thank you.